Welcome to the last episode of our Big Trip 2024 series, episode 12. Over 6 weeks we came up through England and Scotland, spent a couple of weeks on the Outer Hebrides, and then as autumn approached we headed south again. In this episode we leave Wales, visit a lovely village called Clun, and then stop at Tomsfield in Langton Maltravers near Swanage. So we're now on our way to Clun Memorial Centre car park where we plan to stay the night.
There is an overnight charge of £10 to stay.
If you're coming this way, it's worth knowing that the access roads are narrow. Do try to avoid Newport Street,
as you run the risk of accidentally knocking a few hanging baskets.
We just nudged them out of the way.
Yeah, try Ford Street instead. This little road is Hospital Lane, just to give you an idea.
We walked through the village to have a look at the remains of Clun Castle.
A bridge. Best I get over that before Dave catches me up.
It's just around the corner. Wasn't on this mound at all.
That's the proper way to get to it, because you go across over there.
Well,
The bridge.
I could not have climbed that thing. Crazy. Oh, this bench. Yay me. Bench.
Clun Castle was founded shortly after the Norman Conquest, built by the English to defend the borderlands. It was attacked many times by the Welsh. It fell into ruin in the early 1500s and is now looked after by English Heritage.
So this was the Great Tower.
We tried out 2 local pubs,
Had a good night's sleep
and we had breakfast in the local cafe.
before heading further south.
Our campsite for the night was called Littleton Retreat.
It is a very tidy site. It has waste facilities but no showers. But it's set right next to the A361, which ruined the atmosphere just a little bit.
I was going to record the road noise, and of course, all the cars have stopped now. So yes, there's been a complaint about the road noise here.
Not a complaint, just an observation.
And he's not wrong. There's quite a bit of road noise, and one will only hope that it dies down overnight and doesn't pick up too early in the morning.
I was just hoping it would be the sort of place that I would get to, park up, turn the engine off and go, you know what? I'd like to stay here 2 or 3 nights.
Yeah.
And I turned my engine off and heard all the road noise and thought, not so much.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's a bit closer to home. We're on the homeward stretch a little bit. And maybe we'll end up in Swanage tomorrow. Maybe we won't. Well, it doesn't matter tomorrow. We can find somewhere off-grid tomorrow.
Yeah, we can go off grid for a couple of nights and just keep our eye on the weather forecast and the weather radar map. See where the flooding's going to happen.
Yeah.
We decided to walk into the town in the evening to find a pub.
There's quite a lot of cow shit in this field. Sorry, there's quite a lot of cow pats in this field, but they're not fresh.
Quite firm, aren't they? Quite trippy.
I've tripped over a few times. And yeah, we're traipsing across a field, diverting to a different pub, which seems to be the theme of today, diverting our plans.
Being flexible.
Flexible, yes.
Usually how it goes is like this. I suggest something and you say, that's a crap idea, let's do my idea instead.
That is so not me. I always try and accommodate your ideas. We must come back before dark, in case the cows come back.
Ah, well that didn't happen.
Let's hope the pub is worth it.
It wasn't.
Don't have the lasagna.
No, it was horrid.
And this is what happens when you come out to the pub, and when you leave the pub, it's dark, and then you end up walking across grass and stuff in the dark with a torch.
Half an hour later, we found ourselves running through a field and jumping over a fence to avoid a startled cow. We arose slightly scratched by brambles, and we made the decision to spend our last few days in Swanage.
We've stayed at Thomasfield before, many years ago with friends, and it's a very friendly family site. The plan was just to spend our last few days chilling out.
Well, we're back. We had a day off, didn't we? But we're back. And we've just left Tom's field. Might see it over the wall here. And we're going for a walk.
Good long walk.
Good long walk. In a minute you'll see our van through the trees. Yeah, I'd say it's perfect weather for us. Overcast, slight breeze.
We decided to walk the Priest's Way into Swanage.
There's an angry cow, isn't there, Dave?
There is an agitated smell there. What noise?
To make sure that we don't come across any cows today.
The Priest's Way is an ancient track connecting Worth Maltravers to Swanage.
I can see some have been in this field.
Yeah.
That was my tummy rumbling.
Time for lunch then.
Time for lunch, yeah. Absolutely. And that's the view of the sea. So we've just come around the corner. And I'm guessing we go left. Down into Swanage. Down there. This walk is taking us through a holiday park. So this is Townsend Nature Reserve, and apparently there's cattle. There's evidence of cattle. But I'm not keen on coming across another cow on this holiday.
Shout for the mud that's not mud.
Oh.
We spent an hour or so looking around the town before calling it a day.
You enjoying the sunshine?
I very much am, and the countryside and a nice bit of cloud cover. Yeah, for the end of September it's not bad.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a bird of prey up there, back to strike.
Oh, is there? Oh, yeah.
Today's plan is for a different kind of transport.
We're going to catch the bus into Swanage. Novel experience after using the van for so long.
Yeah.
Arriving back in Swanage for a steam train ride.
Gotta love a ride on a steam train. train takes you from Swanage to Norden and takes around 25 minutes if you travel the whole route.
It makes it smoother. It's smooth. Bit of reflection.
Yeah.
The stations have been well restored and really take you back in time.
We disembarked at Corfe.
It's a short walk from the station into Corfe village.
Oh, there's a castle up there.
Corfe Castle was built by William the Conqueror. We didn't go into the castle itself today as we'd visited a few years back with friends.
Ice cream.
Instead, we visited a teeny tiny museum.
And St Edward's Church.
Who's St Edward?
St Edward was murdered by his stepmother in 978. It's said that a blind woman found his body and her sight was restored. How did she find him?
Maybe she fell over
Perhaps
him.
he was getting a bit smelly. Originally built in the 12th century, most of the church was rebuilt by the Victorians.
Now we're walking to the other railway station, which was the end of the line for the steam train, aren't we?
Yes, that's right, yeah, where the mining museum is. Which had shut 45 minutes early, so we missed out on that one. Stop, look and listen at trains.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you really sorry that you pulled the shoe off my heel with the gate?
So instead we sat and enjoyed watching the steam train.
Where's Fred Dibner when you need him?
Why do we need Fred?
He's the man when it comes to steam.
That's true. But I thought you knew everything there was to know about steam.
I'm just an enthusiastic amateur. So to save money, we'd only bought a return ticket to Corfe, which wouldn't take us as far as Norden. So we had to walk back from Norden, back to Corfe. And then we got chatting with the guard at Corfe, and he said, "Oh, don't worry about that, jump on this one. That'll take you up to Norden, and then all the way back down to Swanage." So we got a great long run on a steam train in the wrong direction. Perfect.
Can't complain at more time on a steam train, can you?
No, certainly not.
Nice pasty.
Pasty base.
So we've been on Tom's Field for 3 days now.
Yeah.
It's our last night, and we've been in luxury for the last 3 days.
I think this is... What was that snigger for?
It's not really luxury, is it? The camping, the toilet facilities.
No, not really. No, they're a little basic, aren't they? And it just amazes me how many people set up a campsite and they'll provide you with sinks where you can't actually stand at that sink if somebody stood at the one beside it because they're in an L shape, and there's nowhere to put all your stuff and nowhere to put a towel. So all these facilities they provide that you can't really use.
Well, they're hard to use, yeah, really hard to use.
Or toilet cubicles where the only place you can stand and shut the door is filled with the toilet roll dispenser.
Yeah.
So there's actually nowhere you can stand and close the door.
So if they put the toilet roll dispenser on the other side,
Yeah,
you could
you'd be able to get in and out.
Yeah.
And then you get in there with all your kit you've bought for having a shower and a wash and a shave and all that stuff. And there's nowhere to put it. There's no hooks anywhere in the cubicle.
Well, you see, in the ladies, there is a hook.
Well, okay, should I go in there?
You could be a lady for a day.
Couldn't I?
Oh dear. But, yeah. No, I had a look. I made a point of having a look to see if the ladies' toilets had hooks in, and they do. So.
And the shower cubicles are only big enough if you stand sideways. If you stand the way you want to stand, you've got no elbow room at all.
I think the ladies' showers must be a bit bigger.
Well, you're smaller.
That is true. Yeah, that's true. But it was the hottest, most powerful shower I've had of this whole 5.5 week trip.
Anyway, Tom's Field, Langton Maltravers. I like it apart from the toilet facilities. The layout, the scenery, the atmosphere is all very nice. And I think this site is the first site where we've stayed more than one night in a row.
Yeah.
I said in a row. I know we stayed in the car park in Stornoway twice, but
Yes,
they weren't
we
in
did.
a row.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I think it's a lovely way to wind down the road trip doing
Well,
this.
I think the big contrast is if you're staying at a different place each night, even though you're not exactly on a schedule, you've still got to move, and it makes it less relaxing.
Yeah. And even though some places, like in Uist, and we pulled up quite early in the afternoon and stayed there. There were a couple of places, a couple of the beaches that we pulled up and we stayed at. You still knew it was just a temporary
thing. It was still kind of in your head, oh, where are we going tomorrow? A little bit. Well, for me, anyway. But it's been nice because, you know, you pulled up into this spot a few nights ago and we've not used the van for driving the whole time we've been here.
Yeah, we would be staying an extra day. We would be going home the day after tomorrow, but tomorrow it's supposed to rain from 2 a.m. until 6 p.m.
That's not going to be much fun because we'll just be stuck in the van anyway, so...
Yeah, there's no point hanging around for that.
We had made the decision to go home a day earlier when we saw the forecast, and I don't know, maybe you were keeping half an eye on it to see if it was going to change. But
Yeah, I was, because you never know, more than a day out. Weather forecast in the UK is not reliable. And the other thing I've found is that the extent to which I like a campsite is pretty much inversely proportional to the price. In other words, the cheaper it is, the more I like it. Because the most expensive one I've been to was 75 quid, and it was just packed full of motorhomes, and it did not have a nice atmosphere. I didn't really like it. And the best one was the Shepherd's Rest. It was 20 quid a night.
yeah.
Fantastic view, lovely atmosphere.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, until our next little trip.
Yes.
Wherever that may be. Probably somewhere local, but...
Yes, this is the end of a long sequence, a long trip.
Yeah, I don't know how many videos this has made, but I will put them in a special playlist for the big trip, rather than putting them on our weekenders. I'll make a playlist for this whole trip. I think that would be a good way of sorting them. The Great Big Trip 2024. And if we do it again next year, we'll have another playlist for the Great Big Trip 2025.
Yeah. So this is signing off for the long trip 2024.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night.